Hello, my name is cayton. This is my slide presentation, sort of chronicling, giving a brief overview of my journey through the silver experience. My coach for this was Andre Jordan. Um, I am a graduating senior this semester. Uh, I'm glad I was able to get this program done in time. Definitely a wonderful experience, valuable information. I currently have my application in for North Carolina Central School of Law, and I know that what I've experienced through this process and this journey will help me out there as well. So without further ado, let's get started. So one of my biggest goals that I worked on through this journey was time management. As my coach would tell you, I tend to lead a very busy and full life. So sometimes getting everything done that needs to be done is not always simple. It's sometimes very difficult to get it done. So working on time management was something I definitely wanted to incorporate into this. Um, Mostly done through prioritizing. That's a big one. What is the most important thing that needs to be done at any given time? And that's where I'm going to focus most of my attention. Sacrifice is a big one. And when I started the journey going back to school, I knew that there would be a lot of sacrifice. In discussing things with my wife, we decided that going back to school was going to be beneficial. So we had a choice essentially. We could either sacrifice now for the next few years or not do it and essentially sacrifice for the rest of our lives. So we made the decision to sacrifice now. And it's sort of a continuing list of sacrifices. Sometimes we're sacrificing going and doing something fun so that I can get work done. On the larger scope, I'm sacrificing a lot of family time for my studies. Um, but in the end, I make time for what's important where I can, when I can. And I know in the end that there will be a big payoff. So that's what we're working towards. Um, I've become sort of a big list maker. That's sort of the way I keep the madness in check. To do lists of things I need to buy or need to finish. Um, I've found that just a good old pen and pad is probably my greatest tool. Just allows me to jot down quick notes on the fly, and that way I can come back to it. Makes it easier to not forget it. One of the things that I did find challenging in setting up for my time management goal, some self assessments and recognizing strengths. I'm not a very inward person in a lot of ways. I do a lot of reflection about events and things and other people. Reflection on myself is something I've always found more difficult. I do recall one worksheet we did that was tooting your own horn. That was probably one of the more difficult things I've done in this program, simply because I don't dwell on myself so much. So it was good. It was definitely good and educational for me to take that time to look at myself, look at what I have accomplished and working towards, what I can do, what I can't do. So that was definitely good and helped me recognize strengths that I'm not going to say that I didn't know I had, but that I may not necessarily have been giving myself enough credit for. All right, so following up from self-awareness and recognizing strengths from the last slide, growth. I mean, that's what this entire program and process is about. Truthfully, that's what life is about. I never want to reach a point in my life where I'm not growing, I'm not learning. I've been there through several years of my life. Actually, I was very stagnant in that regard. Um, Looking back, it's just I see a lot of wasted time, a lot of wasted potential, and just it leads to a lifestyle that I wasn't happy with. So now, I'm a different person. I've grown. I do understand the importance of learning and just continuing to seek knowledge about the world, about yourself, about different ways of doing things. Um, so that is something that has continued over into the program. I've definitely gained a better view of my strengths and my weaknesses in many regards. One activity that we did, I enjoyed. It gives you a perspective on certain changes in your life, how you started to where you're going, essentially, or where you're at currently. So you're comparing certain things, certain aspects about yourself as a child to certain aspects about yourself now, and you're able to kind of see the differences, see the similarities, and track that growth and how you've changed. Again, the tooting your own horn worksheet, that was a struggle for me, just kind of because of my personality and how I don't really reflect on myself enough. Um, so it was definitely a good project, a good practice for me to be able to sit down and gain that understanding of what I have accomplished and what I am currently accomplishing. So, for my community engagement, um, I am a volunteer with Rockingham County 4-H. Have been for a couple of years now. It's a wonderful program. It's primarily, I would say, agriculturally based. That's due to its beginnings in Ohio as ways for young people to share and spread new information and new technology when it comes to agriculture and farming. And it's actually, the program's been around for well over 100 years at this point, and it has grown into so much more, from the agricultural aspect to science and engineering and electronics and robotics. The core concept of it is learning by doing. So it's not sitting there reading, like you do in school. Everything is project based. The kids work on record books throughout the year. And every year we have an achievement night where they're recognized for their accomplishments. So I've selected a few pictures from this past year, just to kind of give an example. The first one is some of the kids. They actually came over to our house. We have some blueberry bushes, and we did a quick little lesson on blueberries, the different types of blueberry bushes, and kind of the life cycle of blueberries and how you care for them. And then we went blueberry picking. Kids were able to pick their own baskets of blueberries to take home, snack on. It's a really wonderful thing. We've done it a couple of years now. This year I have enough plants. I'm actually going to send all the kids home with their own little small blueberry plants, so we're looking forward to that. The second picture here, we did a lesson on fermented foods. So the kids got to learn about, bacteria and yeasts and how they can change and alter the foods we eat, and how a lot of the foods we have are, we have them thanks to the fermentation process. The dinner we had that night was heavy with fermented foods, yogurt. We had sourdough rolls with, for barbecue sandwiches, and it was a vinegar-based barbecue sauce. So all of it going along with the fermentation process. And here the kids got to try some stuff like cottage cheese and sauerkraut, which rely on fermentation. The third photo, I'm a member of the Rockingham County Hunting and Wildlife Advisory Committee, and every year we have a youth hunting and safety day. The club was involved in it this year, donated water for everyone to drink. It was a warm day, and a lot of members of the club showed up as well to engage in the activities. So, there was some fishing. They got to shoot rimfire rifles with guidance from the Department of Wildlife. It was just a good experience to be outdoors. Again, everything was hands-on. Kids had a great time. Another big aspect of what we do is service. Our club particularly is community service based, so we try to incorporate many service projects throughout the years, or throughout the year rather. The last photo in this group is from this year. We every year at least once we try to serve at the Reedsville Soup Kitchen. So that photo is from that event. Um, Basically, again, the kids have the opportunity to learn by doing and to give back, um, and to see how it feels to help those less fortunate than themselves. So, for my personal motivation, what's driving me on this journey? The first thing I have listed is my dad. I am partially doing this for him. The reason being, after 15 years, when I decided that I wanted to go back to school, and told him about it, his comment was that it was pointless, and that I wouldn't finish it. Uh, so he has spent his entire life working trades, and his thought was, I should probably do the same thing, which is fine. I have worked some in the trades, don't mind it, it's good work. Um, Picked up some amazing skills from it. I just don't see it as being my future, my career. So, in going back to school, essentially he thought it was kind of pointless waste of time. So I have enjoyed every step of the way, keeping him updated on it. um, Basically because he didn't think I could do it. And it's been difficult. It definitely has. That kind of leads into my son. I do it for him as well. He has watched me through this whole process, through going back to school, through participating in the Silver Leadership Challenge and the Bronze Leadership Challenge. And it is a very difficult thing to do, balancing work and home and school, um, and extracurricular activities. But he gets to see that, and he gets to see that it is possible. So that has been a big thing for me, being able to show him that. I do it, my wife as well has been a huge motivator in this. She um, believes in what I'm doing and believes that, things like this, the Silver Leadership Challenge, are important to me on that journey. She's very supportive of it. So I do things like this as well to show her that I see her backing me. I appreciate it. And also, working towards building a better life for my family. I do have some more personal motivations as well. The journey itself, I'm greatly enjoying it. I have enjoyed the Silver Leadership experience so much, and just my total journey back into the world of education, um, and on to where I'm going after this. Um, and ultimately, I'm piece by piece building a better future for myself and for my family as well. So, what are my goals for the future? Um, Definitely, this experience has helped solidify a lot of thoughts I had in my mind. Um, Continued growth, absolutely. I kind of look at myself now as a lifelong student. Anything that I can take and kind of add to my toolbox, I definitely want to learn, continue to grow. Um, I do seem to find myself frequently placed in positions of leadership to some degree. Um, so continuing to acquire skills that will help me in that regard, definitely high on my list of priorities. Um, Another thing in that lens, leading by example. Just the fact that I have, with everything on my plate, taken on projects such as the Silver Leadership Program. Um, it's kind of an example to everyone else that yes, it is difficult, Yes, it takes away from other things, but it can be done and it is rewarding, both when it's through as well as throughout the process. Um, Another thing I'm looking at is kind of forging my own path going forward. I have some ideas. I'm trying to get into law school, and I have some ideas for once I'm done with that, some things that I want to do. Um, Trying to find my place in the world and a way to leave it a better world than when I found it. Um, and I know that a lot of that's going to require me to kind of pave my own road. Um, it's definitely a challenge I look forward to. I know it's going to be difficult, uh, but the only way to get there is to work towards it.